Well, great. Thank you all, everyone, for being here. We're really excited for our breakout session today on shared work programs with Rafael Colon from the Employment Security Department. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Rafael, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Olivia, and thank you for your presentation this morning and the partnership with Human Resources statewide. I have something to share as we make it through our program. So welcome this morning. This morning, we'll talk about the shared work program and the focus on employers. So it's a pleasure to be here at the YesVets Employer Recognition and Resources Symposium. We'll give you a quick overview about shared work, and then we'll take any questions. And I have my colleague in the chat, so if there's any questions you might have, we'll be able to answer those as you unmute, and Olivia will assist us with that. So shared work, if you see this symbol anywhere, you'll see that we consider shared work a win-win-win. It's a win for businesses. I'll discuss this. It's a win for employees and their families and the community itself. So we've changed our logo from being a win-win-win to a win with shared work, discussing that it impacts and has a ripple effect throughout a person, the employer, obviously, the community, families, and really everyone. We're excited about it. So I'll ask you this question. Has your business experienced economic volatility? Because when folks think about shared work, and this program's been around 38 years, it has a tremendous track record, folks think of an economic hiccup that's happened for their business, or they're experiencing layoffs, that they're about to experience layoffs. And so while that is the case, and most people see it and use that program in that manner, what we're trying to do is inform and educate and inspire employers to understand that you can submit your application for shared work and have it ready should you experience an economic hiccup, should you experience a public works project in front of your business, or anything like that that creates an economic prevention stream to your business and affects payroll in some way or fashion. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Here's the agenda I'd like to cover briefly with you, and then take any of your questions. I'm going to give you just a quick overview of shared work, a little bit of history about it, what it is, and how it can help you, the what, who, and why we call it. How it works. Through the COVID situation that's happened, we have received grant dollars that have allowed us to implement and make improvements to our systems to make this a very seamless application process now and management of your unemployment insurance account. I'll share with you a report that we've come up with that breaks this participation of employers by workforce development area, and we have just had the opportunity to break it down even further by county. So we'll be able to share with you some of the employers in the area, or where you reside, or where your business is at, that are participating. I'll share with you in our outreach initiatives for employers, how we're trying to inform and educate them and inspire to engage them with shared work, and in our campaign about being ready. Resources available to you as employers, and any questions that you have. So we don't have a lot of time. We have lots of information, but I think you'll be excited to hear this. So the history of this, as I mentioned, it was enacted in 1983. So we have 38 years, going on 39 years of a successful track record. It was established by the Department of Labor, called short-time compensation. And in 29 states across the country, there may be different names for it. We adopted the name shared work. And with shared work, there's some confusion about that, because sometimes employers think it's one job being shared by two employees. That is not the case at all. And we continue to battle that, although we've done a very good job of reframing what that really means and how it takes place. It was enacted by WAC, Chapter 192-250, and the RCW is 5060, which has to deal with unemployment insurance as well. Since its establishment in 83, we, Washington State, and the support of the legislature and businesses in this state, have continued to be a national model. And we are looked at as a pioneer in efforts that we take place, that we pilot, and that we initiate in this state with our employer community. One example is our relationship with veterans. Each state has different requirements, and it may be a different name for their STC program. That's, again, short-time compensation. Some call it work share, some call it shared work like we do, some call it short-time compensation. There they are, about 27 states. 2 of them have just come on board through COVID, and this map continues to be expanded as more and more employers realize that this is a tremendously beneficial readiness program, recruitment program, retention program. I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit. We just received a grant extension. And what does this mean? It means that we now can continue to make system improvements for employers until June 30th of 2023, into our 39th year, if you will. And the program will continue. It just won't continue with the federal funding that we're receiving to make these enhancements, if you will. Promote and enroll. We have doing outreach initiatives all over the state, and our partnership with YesVets, our partnership with the Society of Human Resource Management in different areas by sponsoring and tabling it at their events, or as many as possible, are just several initiatives of our strategy. And I'll share those with you as we get through the program. But that's been extended till December 31st, 2023. So it gives us another 14 months or so to really get out there and inform and educate employers. We submit quarterly reports to the Department of Labor to let them know of our progress. And we do that consistently so that they can monitor why it is that they're investing in our state to outreach to employers. So what is it? What is SharedWork? And here's a 50-word description or less. It is an opt-in program, meaning that it's voluntary by the employer to help stabilize a business during temporary economic setbacks. And those economic setbacks can be anything. It could be a supply and demand issue. It could be waiting for a contract not approved by the legislature if you're doing business with the government. It could be a public works project. It could be anything that's temporary, and we help make that determination with you. So temporary economic setbacks, employers keep their workforce, so that's a retention strategy, intact by temporarily reducing their hours to save payroll costs and keep the business operating. So the idea right now is keep the talent that you hire, don't lay them off, but reduce their hours so that they can continue to receive a payroll, a paycheck, and receive unemployment insurance benefits at the same time. SharedWork pays employees a prorated percentage of unemployment insurance benefits, and eligibility is open to most businesses and industries. And what we encourage employers to do in our campaign is to let us tell you that you're not eligible. Eligibility now has been really slimmed down to just a few requirements, and here they are. So who is eligible? According to the legislative requirements, an employer must have 2 or more permanent employees to enroll that must be eligible for regular unemployment benefits. That's really it. We'll not subsidize seasonal employers during the off season. That's a requirement, but let us make that determination with you. Call us, call our 800 number, and we will simply look at it and determine in 60 seconds or less whether you're eligible or not. That's a benefit that we want to give you so that you don't have to try and read everything and rule yourself out. We want to rule you in to participate in the program. The big one is the 2 or more employees at this point. Has been a federal requirement, and the state adopted the same requirement. So if you have 2 or more employees who are eligible, and we determine eligibility through unemployment insurance hours of what we're looking at for an unemployment insurance claim, then we could move forward. Again, this is an employer opt-in program. So it's not initiated by employees, it's initiated by an interest of the employer for business sustainability. So why does it matter? In just a few short ways. It's practical business solutions when a difficult situation happens for you with the economy. It's economic empowerment to adjust to unstable conditions. It gives you the flexibility for you to make operational decisions day in and day out, week by week. The beauty of this is it's a week by week program. So if 1 week you're on SharedWork, you're reducing the hours of your employees, but next week the contract comes through, the public works project is completed, whatever it is, you can then return those employees back to full-time work and you're not affected in any way. So it gives you that flexibility as an employer to make those smart decisions to keep your business serving customers, keep that profit coming in, and doing what it is that you need to do to keep the lights on and the doors open, if you will. Flexible to remain operational, as I mentioned, a competitive advantage for recruitment and retention. I want to touch on this in just a little bit, because what we're doing in reframing SharedWork, we've partnered with the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit Program. It's the Washington Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit Program. And what it is it allows you a tax credit for hiring certain groups of individuals at this time, since talent acquisition and finding good qualified talent is very difficult to do. There are tax incentives to do that. That allows you to recruit individuals that you would traditionally maybe not look at. But in the state that we're in right now, where there are more job openings than there are employees, it's a resource that gives you a competitive advantage as you look at these qualified individuals that you would normally not have looked at traditionally. Maybe justice involved, long-term unemployed, maybe some folks that have had a disadvantage and been on uh, temporary assistance from food stamps, if you will, as it used to be called. So we've partnered with them to let you know that SharedWork and WOTC are a great recruitment strategy now, and retention strategy. The recruitment part of it for SharedWork is also if you take two employers that are both offering the exact same thing to me as an employee, and I know that one is a SharedWork caring employer because they will not lay off workers first. They'll look at reducing hours and offering them a paycheck with unemployment insurance. I'm more likely as an employee to select that, which makes you a SharedWork caring employer. It gives you a competitive advantage in this tight labor market of recruitment. Something to think about and something we can tell you more about that later. And avoid the wait lines. One of the most common things we heard prior to COVID-19 and then during COVID-19 is I wish I had known. We want to overcome that and we need your help. If you're interested, give us a call at our 800 number. You'll see that posted in just a little bit, and we will tell you your eligibility in 60 seconds or less. But most importantly is we want you to be prepared for what could come in the fourth quarter of this year, which most economists and others are talking about maybe a little R, medium-sized R, or a big R. We know that that R means recession. Allow yourself not to wait in line by doing things in advance. So how does it work? Very simple. You can call our 800 number at 800-752-2500 and select option 3, and you'll get a plan specialist. And we will determine your business eligibility. Since we have all the information there, we can look at the screen and tell you in 60 seconds or less that you're qualified or you're not qualified and say to you the reasons why. Once you do that and we determine that you're eligible, an employer assigns a SharedWork representative. And I'll share with you the application in just a little bit. But what's important here is that you select one of your employees to be a representative. Usually it's in HR or finance. It could be in payroll. You may be wearing many hats. It could be yourself. But we would like a representative to work with to facilitate that process when it is that you need to reduce the hours of your employees and they need to draw unemployment insurance. Once you do that, it is a very seamless process and you don't have to communicate with us other than the rep. We send you reports every Tuesday to look at the quality of the payment that you gave them and to ensure fraud prevention with the unemployment insurance that is being paid so that you have a match system there. We want to ensure that everything is protected in terms of your payroll and in terms of your unemployment insurance trust account. So with that, an employer submits the application and a participant list of the number of employees, and we take it over from there. Once the employer plan is approved, and we are in low periods right now, we can turn it around on a dime, and that could be in 24 hours to 72 hours to 4 days, where the usual federal requirement is up to 15 days, and we want to prevent you from getting to that as we enter the fourth quarter. So you submit the employee application, they submit as well, and we're on our way. Then the employee receives earned wages when you reduce hours. If you don't reduce hours, that's perfectly fine. Everything is completed. You're giving yourself peace of mind, and it is in the event of that hiccup happens. If you're not impacted by it, no impact whatsoever. At the point that it does, an employee's wages, a share of unemployment insurance benefits when those hours are reduced, and they receive those directly to their bank account or whatever method that they choose that they would like those wages received, or those unemployment insurance benefits received, I should say. The employer representative checks weekly the SharedWork payment reports for accuracy. That's very important so that we remain accurate. It's very simple. We've streamlined it. This takes only a few minutes. The biggest time investment for you as an employer is every week that you check the accuracy to protect your wages and you protect your unemployment insurance account. So very simple. We've streamlined the application. Here's the employer plan. It is on our website and is also on your online account that can be accessed through Secure Access Washington, your SAW and eServices account. So this could all be done electronically, or you could also download it and complete it and upload it to us at our information at 800-701-7754. It could be faxed, any number of ways to make it easy for you. But as you can see, it's become a page and a half, and that is it. Most of it, your business, what's happening if you're involved with a union, that would require union involvement, and then some information that you need to know about here before signing it. Very simple, very easy to use, and very easy to apply. As I mentioned, you could apply through e-services. That's done electronically. Many of you already manage your accounts through unemployment, through the e-services account, whether you're paying the Department of Revenue or you're working with Labor and Industries. We're one of those UBI agencies. And so if you have access, all you have to do is select SharedWork and go into it through that method. Any difficulties that you have, again, you could call us at 800-752, I think it's 752-2500, option 3, and you're all set to go. So I mentioned to you early on about the regional report, that we would cover that. And if you notice here, we've broken down by workforce region. So if you identify the county in which you serve, that's the workforce region in that you're in. Here's some numbers that we ran at the end of July. And these numbers represent businesses eligible for shared work in that region. So for example, let's say you're in the North Central workforce region of Adam or Chelan. We've come up with 4,900 employers that are eligible. The question becomes, are you one of the 42 that's currently participating? Because businesses currently participating in shared work, there are only 42 of the 4,900. The 42 that are participating have reduced hours of 769 employees. So again, as I explained, some economic hiccup happened. It could be any number of things. Let us help determine that with you. And they've reduced the hours of those employees, so wages are being paid while they collect unemployment insurance until some point they can get them back into full-time employment. That's the beauty of this. It's a week-by-week application. The program works for 1 year of approved application, and then you get an annual renewal notice that says, would you like to renew? And we discuss that process. It's a very simple, streamlined process as well. So as you look at this regional report and where your business is located and what you're doing, are you one of these businesses in the left-hand column where you're eligible, but you're not participating? Or are you one of these that's currently participating? And if you are, we're glad that you're participating, or we're glad that we could be a benefit to your business as you continue your journey of operating and staying open and providing great service to customers of Washington State that patronize your business. So any question that you have, you can also contact the particular workforce region. They have business representatives, or you can contact our WorkSource office location, and I will give you that as a resource contact information at the end of this presentation. One point I'd like to add here also is that we have over 100,000 businesses eligible, and that's where you come in. We really need your help. Get ready now, which is the most important thing we're trying to promote, is readiness. Be prepared. I'll share with you our business outreach strategy and what we're doing and how we're doing it to get the message across to employers. One of the things we're doing are events like this one with YesVets and others, but we're also putting on webinars across the state with partners. So as you can see, here's an example of one we have upcoming next week on September 13th, where we've partnered with Chambers, the Alliance of Gig Harbor there in the Key Peninsula area. And we're starting off with what we call Shared Work Plus One, where we give a brief overview of shared work and then some other topic that would be beneficial to that business operating in that community. In this case, they have chosen labor market and economic analysis. Now, I would assume it's because of the talent, the unavailable talent that we're seeing in Washington State, in different pockets of different cities and counties, and also where can we find that talent? And what's happening with our labor market and wages and those kinds of things. So September 13th with the Gig Harbor Chamber and their partners, we're doing that one. And as you can see, they've selected Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning because this is really what they're saying as a local flavor for them. So we're customizing these kinds of sessions for the needs of the local businesses in that area. As you can see, South Kitsap is choosing Thursdays. They do this Thursdays once a month. They are having walk cares, the long-term support and services support legislation that passed, and what that implies or what it's going to do to employees and all the collections aspect of that. And theirs is at 2 to 3 in the afternoon. So you can see once again that the chambers participate and they select what's best for their partners. This is when we're doing statewide. We took on labor market economic analysis. It's a statewide event we're doing during what we call our Lunch and Learn series. And then again, here we're partnering with Spokane and 3 of their partners at 10:30 in the morning on Wednesday. So this is all to tell you that you have a number of ways to learn about what's happening in the workforce system and how it can benefit you as an employer. In addition to this, we provide information through our tax quarterly runs. When you get information from Employment Security, you may see an insert in there about SharedWork, because our goal right now is to inform and educate and inspire you as businesses, as employers, to get engaged with us at Employment Security and learn about our business-friendly programs to help you thrive and grow your business. So here's some quick resources I'd like to share with you, and shortly we'll get to any questions that you will have. So you have the SharedWork outreach team, and that's being able to reach any of us at that 800 number. You'll contact by selecting 3. Those are new plan inquiries, and you'll go directly to a specialist who can assist you with eligibility, the application process, and even in probably less than 20 minutes, if you stay with them on the phone, we can facilitate the 1-year application for you to have it completely completed and give you that peace of mind right there when you call. We can also set up an appointment to call you and go through those 20 minutes with you to assist you. Any way you need help, we're here and ready to serve. SharedWorkWA.com is the quickest way to find us and reach us. There's a longer US link below that, URL below that. You can go to esd.wa.gov. That may be the one bookmarked for you, and /SharedWork. So either of those are fine in Google or any other platform that you need to search us for, and you'll find us. And then workforcewa.com locator. I want to point this out because WorkSource is part of the workforce system, and they have business service reps in each of the local areas. So I want to share with you that if you go to worksourcewa.com /locator, you'll see business services down here. You'll select your location, and if there's a business service representative there, you could click on that and contact that person locally in your area. I would encourage you to do that so that you can get to know the local folks and they can get to know you. This also includes our local veteran employment representatives at the local level. You probably have direct access to them already. If not, we encourage you to contact them through this medium as well, worksourcewa.com locator, and contact your local veteran employment representative so that he and she can continue to provide the great quality services that you should expect as a veteran-owned employer and can expect from our Employment Security Department WorkSource team. So our contact information, in wrapping this up, and more ways to learn about SharedWork. Our toll-free number, as I mentioned, option 3 is the new plan inquiry. That's where we'd like you to call. We're here Mondays through Fridays from 8 to 4. And there are other ways that you could also learn by visiting our website. We have a 2-minute award-winning video, 2.5 minutes. It's something that if you'd like to share with your staff, if you'd like to share with your decision makers, if you'd like to share at a chamber event that you participate, it's a great 2.5-minute video that does a great explanation of the program, and I encourage you to preview it. We have local events, as I mentioned. We have the statewide webinars, and then we have something very unique that's called our weekly webinar, and that's to help employers get answers to their questions about SharedWork. You can contact us on Wednesdays at 11:15. Just register, attend, and it's free-fold. It's free, it's open mic. You can open mic and ask your question and then hang up. You can write a question in the chat, get it answered, and hang up. It's really a free conversation for 45 minutes to help employers understand anything that they may be experiencing with SharedWork, but more importantly, want to know about SharedWork before considering or even applying. I also want to share with you one other very important campaign that we're having, and this involves some very unique relationships. If you belong to a chamber of commerce, if you belong to a business association group, here are 2 examples of groups that we're partnering with, that we're providing them what's called one call, that's all. And what we're trying to do with here is to provide you from the opportunity to not have to wait in line. We don't want you waiting in line. We want to get as many employers signed up as possible. We're providing an exclusive 800 number for your membership for them to call and determine eligibility, or we will call and set up an appointment. We determine eligibility and get their application completed in 20 minutes or less, so that it gives them peace of mind and they have it done. If you're interested in this, let us know. If you belong to an organization that's interested, fine. If you are just a small business yourself and want to call our 800 number, fine. It does not matter. There's no wrong door. There are many doors to service you, and that's what we want you to know. We've been doing a number of exciting things, partnering with the Hospitality Association, if you're in the restaurant industry, partnering with construction, partnering with retail. We continue to partner and partner and partner to get the messaging out. And as you can see, these are the illustrations of how we're doing it on our weekly availability for you, our one call that's all, partnering at the local level, and then partnering at the big state association level. We're also doing lots of tabling of events. Just in September, we have 6. They're either full in person or virtual hybrids like this one. We have 3 in October, 5 in November, 1 in December, and we're doing 2 virtual events with YesVets. I think one is coming up in November as well, besides this one. And as you can see, here's a small list of upcoming events. Our participation today, thank you to YesVets, Seth and Monique, Hannah and the other leaders, Olivia and others that are making this possible, with Gary at DVA, the Department of Veteran Affairs, and others. We're very grateful. September 13th, we're partnering, Olivia, with the Lake Washington Human Resources Association. Thanks to your leadership and all the chapters that are around the state, all the great symposiums and events that they put on. We look forward to tabling there and getting the word out there. We'll also be attending the national conference. It's happening in Spokane here on October 4th and 6th, as we're a sponsor there and exhibiting there. As we know, human resource leaders and professionals are important influencers and decision makers at the table, and informing and educating them is important to our overall mission with SharedWork and getting employers ready. As you can see, we're touching many different industries and being out there as much as possible, from the real estate industry coming up this month, to the manufacturing industry, to everything we can go, because nonprofits are eligible, for-profits are eligible, small business are eligible, some seasonal are eligible. So we ask you to help us. Let us make the determination on your behalf. Don't rule yourself out. Let us rule you in. So I mentioned that we would cover a number of things very quickly and then turn it over for some Q&A, because this is really more about getting your questions answered and access to services. So I mentioned discussing a brief overview of SharedWork, the what, who, and why, how it works, a statewide and regional report about where employers are in terms of who's participating, our complete outreach initiatives, not really touching on social media, but it's something that we're standing up to do further outreach to employers, some resources available to you. And now I'd like to turn it over to you and give your time to ask questions that you may have, whether in the chat or, Olivia, how can we do that?
People in the breakout room can pose questions in the chat if they'd like, and I will monitor that and ask you. Or if they want to come off mute, I think they have the ability to unmute themselves and ask their questions directly. So I can give everyone, I can actually would like to start it off myself and ask, if a business is planning to lay off employees, if that looks like that's what's coming, no matter what the reason, is it a best practice to just go ahead and contact and see if SharedWork would be a viable option?
Absolutely. They could do a number of things. They can work with their local WorkSource office, because there are rapid response services that we provide an employer thinking about layoffs. If they even are contemplating that as a strategy to keep their business operating, they can reach us directly and we could provide an answer to their question, only specifically to SharedWork, not to other layoff situations or considerations. So the answer to your question is yes and yes.
Thank you. That's very helpful in our outreach efforts. Does anyone else have any other questions for Raphael? And Raphael, do you mind just saying one more time the right website to go, or I can put that in the chat too for the attendees?
No, I'm glad you asked. No, I'll be more than happy to share that. Here it is. They can go to SharedWork. Well, let me get you to the website because they can go to right here. They can go to esd.wa.gov/sharedwork or sharedwork.com. And they can also find out about WorkSource and the services like you mentioned about considering layoff preventions and all the services available if a business is even thinking about layoffs. I appreciate the question, Olivia, and if I may add, we're excited about getting employers to understand that there is no cost to applying for getting the application completed. And we are on a mission about those 101,000 employers that are eligible to get them to just sign up. That's all they need to do and let the application sit there until they need it. That's the whole idea of this campaign of partnering and outreach and tabling and sponsoring. And we're hoping to do that. As a matter of fact, I love the strategy of that SHRM has with YesVets and want to do that with SharedWork because I think it will provide peace of mind to small businesses, especially those small ones that wear many hats. And so we're trying to understand that this is a competitive advantage for them given the economic turbulence we're experiencing in the state.
Wonderful. We do have a question from Craig Easler. Craig, do you mind coming off mute and asking your question?
Sure.
Good morning, Craig.
Good morning. I've spoken to Raphael and most of the people here, to include Martinez. I just want to make sure to clarify it just for some of the other people in the room. This is in addition to all the services that the business service teams at ESD provide when a company puts out like a warn or anything of that nature. That's correct, right?
Yes, this is one of many services, and that's very, very good. I'm glad you mentioned that. SharedWork is one resource of the many resources that we provide, we, the workforce system, we ESD, provide to an employer in support of keeping their business operating, keeping them open, and keeping their dream alive.
Do we have any other questions? All right, well, Raphael, thank you so much for this incredible content. I know I learned quite a lot today, and I really appreciate your wonderful presentation and also the great variety of ways that businesses can engage to find out if they're eligible for SharedWork via the phone line, as well as the different webinars and the website options. So thank you very much for speaking to all the different kinds of needs that our business community has for finding out the answers to their different questions and eligibility. Since we have no more questions, the next breakout room is going to start at 10:50 sharp. So we'll give everyone a moment to have a quick break, and you'll return back. It will close out this breakout room. So I'm going to keep it open and not close the room. You can come back right to your screen, and it will close out this breakout room right at 10:50 and take us back to the general session. So thank you so much, Raphael. We really appreciate everyone's attendance today, and we'll stop recording.
Great. Olivia, are you staying on after we stop recording?
I will.
Great.